What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? How you out there doing this Sunday evening, April the 3rd? Hopefully, you're having a fantastic beginning to your week. Welcome to another edition of Real Talk for Real Men. This is our Sunday edition where, we're going to spend an hour, hopefully, having a little fun. So I appreciate you guys tuning in to the Sunday edition. You can find me on the TFG TV network of shows on YouTube and on Facebook. And so part of the TFG platform, go to your YouTube. You can find us, under and subscribe to the show under TFG Ratchet or TFG Uncut. Here at Real Talking for Real Men, we have conversations about real things in a very real way. And hopefully you can get something from it. So I'm your host, Lee Black. I'm glad to be here with you this Sunday. And let's bring in my co-hosts and we'll get this thing cracking. We got Tasha all the way from Memphis, Tennessee. How you doing, Tasha?
I'm sleepy. I'm sleepy today. It's just been that type of day.
I actually can concur. It is weather-wise, it's a beautiful day here in Atlanta, Georgia, but it is that lazy kind of day to start this month off. Where absolutely, I've been quietly trying to watch games myself and just kind of get myself into the mood. And I'm hoping that this conversation today can bring my spirits up because this son of a bitch above me, he just constantly walks, and I wish I could strangle this son of a bitch and leave his carcass laying in his apartment. So I'm gonna hopefully be in a better mood. But let's bring in my
Well,
brother from
okay.
Texas. Yes, that is the vein I'm in. What's going on, brother Kenny?
What's going on, guys? I guess we batting a trifecta because I'm a little sleepy too. I'm like, I don't know what it is. It is a beautiful day. I just kind of got this, I don't know, just one of them days, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is. So, well, I appreciate you both for showing up. I appreciate, taking the time because there's things you could be doing. It simply could be relaxing and resting on a Sunday. So if it's just us three, hey, we'll just kind of touch base with each other. It's always great to see you two faces. That in of itself makes my day. So I
Mine too.
appreciate you guys. So that's going to at least lift my spirits. And we'll spend a little time with each other. In case you don't know, we're live every Wednesday, every Sunday. And so today we're going to be tackling the inevitable. Unless you've been hiding under a rock, we're going to tackle the elephant in the room, but we're going to go beyond that. We're talking about hot topics. And if this is your first time tuning in, whether you're live or you come to view the show afterwards, we do it a little differently, So we're going to go behind the scenes of the topics and we're going to talk about the hot topics as they relate to real life situations, particularly how we relate to each other, as men and as women. Because for us, that's always our goal, to try to increase our, the way we talk with each other and connect with each other. And so I didn't make any specific topics, I'll kind of type them in as we go. I'm probably not even going to share my screen, but I wanted to spend some time, obviously, talking about the hot topics, that things that's going on. So let's get right to it. The very first one, let's talk about the Will Smith situation. You know, now, if you're like me, you're probably exhausted, from talking about, this whole scenario. And unless you've been under a rock, you know that last Sunday during the Oscars, Will slapped Chris Rock live on TV, and lo and behold, the world lost its collective mind. And so, with that being said, look, whatever angle you see it from, we're not going to examine that part of it.
hmm
We're beyond talking about who's to blame and what we would have done, things like that. I have two specific angles that I want to talk about this topic with you guys from. Chris Rock's brother, Tony Rock, has come forward in a very big way. I don't know if you've been keeping up with it, but
Yeah.
he did a live performance, and I thought about playing a snippet, but that's not important to remain to the conversation. Obviously, he talked about that how he felt about it. He does not accept Will Smith's apology, and he alluded to the fact that because there was an exchange between him and Twitter followers that pretty much when he sees Will Smith is on. I wanted to ask you guys to put yourself in his shoes. we all on this panel, we have siblings, you know.
Mhm.
If somebody had done this to your brother or sister, how would you feel if your sibling, by all accounts up to now, wanted to let it go? So imagine now you're the sibling and somebody had disrespected your brother or sister in the way that Chris Rock was disrespected, slapped your brother, slapped your sister, and they're high profile. How would you feel? Would you let it go? Where would you be feeling at this point?
I definitely would feel some type of way. I wouldn't be happy about it. As far as what Tony Rock says, you know, if whenever he sees Will is on, me personally, my whole reaction, I would base that upon whatever my sibling how he wants to proceed or she proceed for. I have a brother, a younger brother, so if it was my brother that got slapped, I would really just kind of vibe off of his where we going with this. I'm not gonna take my matters into my own hands, but I would still feel some type of way. I would leave it up to my sibling to see to how we proceed.
Okay. What about you, Tasha?
Oh, I'm a shit starter extraordinaire. I grew up with brothers, so it's like I know how to just, like pick at somebody where, okay, you don't want me to initiate it or instigate it. I will make it known if we are in the same place. I will be speaking loud. I will be calling you all out of your name. You will be all kind of bitches. I will instigate it because I would want it to go there.
Mm, mm. Look, so that's where for me, I've examined this, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm all over the place. On the one hand, Brother Kenny, I'm with you. I would like to respect my siblings' wishes. If they're saying, you know what, I'm good, let it go, we got too much to lose, or we bigger than this, all of the right things. But I'll be honest with you, there's a side of me that's like Tasha, that I come from an old school mentality where if you hit my sibling, I almost feel like I don't know how much of that I could keep inside. I'm like Tasha in the sense that I got to step to the person. I got to step to them to let them know that what you did not only was it not cool, but yo, that's my sibling. You know what I'm saying? And we can do this right here. We can do this right now. I would have the mindset that if that person backs down, I would like to believe I could let it go. But I'm like Tasha, I would be loud, I would be vocal, I would want that smoke. I would want, and that's for me what I thought. And I go back to last Sunday, and Tasha and I was discussing this live when it happened, and that was one of the first things I said. Remember, Tasha? I said, well, now he got a brother. He has a brother.
He got nine of. He got like 9 of them, 8 of them.
And when Tony Rock said 10, I didn't know if that was true.
No, it is. Yeah, it's like 10 of them. I want to say 9 or 10.
So, question then, where Kenny, you're cool-headed and calm. Can you hold back 9 other people who feel like their brother has been disrespected? Right. He's now the butt of jokes. He's the mean. Tasha, are you laughing?
No. That's funny because my brother is the exact opposite of me. He's for the smoke. He's for the smoke. So he's with it. So, and I've all, again, that don't mean that I ain't feeling some type of way, but there's no right or wrong answer here either.
Right.
My thing is, I know with me, I was like, yo, bro, I'm rolling with whatever way you rolling. If you you ain't with it, you ain't with it. And I'm gonna let it be. That's just me, but to each his own too.
Absolutely. Tasha, anything else on that part?
No, I would just say, just for legal reasons, the only thing I wouldn't do, I'm not going to initiate it physically, but I am going to push you to that edge where you feel like you want to initiate it, and then we have somewhere we can go from there.
So that I understand. And listen to what Tony Rock says, and when he said about it's 10 of us, I didn't know. I know he
Yeah,
was serious.
Mhm.
I didn't know it
yeah,
was 10 brothers. So
yeah.
this has the potential to get ugly because
It
what
does.
Tony Rock even said was, I
He
don't have as much to
had
lose.
right, and that's what I was getting ready to say. Tony Rocket, he's with that smoke again. He's not as big as Chris. I mean, he has a nice little following, but he's like, "Yo, I ain't got nothing to lose, so I'm with it." So,
So imagine the other ones who we don't
mhm,
know at all, we never heard of. And I think about myself, and I have brothers, and and then what our people don't know is my sisters are way more violent than my brothers. Believe it or not, I would have a much easier time telling my brothers let it go. My sisters,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I've had incidences right on this show at the very beginning when my sister felt as if I was being disrespected in some way, and I had to hear it in the background, from her. And I'm like, let that shit go. You know what I'm saying? Because they're very protective, and that's kind of we were raised in that old school vein. So yeah,
mhm,
this has the potential to clearly not be over. Even after they tackle the legal and the this and that, and if they ever get
right,
together and speak with each other, there's
yeah,
some if there's 9 other people in the
yeah.
background feeling some kind of way, that can get ugly. I
And
want to I want
you know the irony of this. Tony Rock actually worked for Will and Jada. Do y'all remember that show, All of Us, with
he
Lisa Ray?
Mhm.
did. He did. He
Will and
sure
Jada was the
did.
executive producer of that
He
show.
sure did. He sure did. So yeah, which
Mm,
brings me to the other part of this conversation. As we've examined this and looked at it and from all the different angles and people are taking sides and there's looking at it from Jada's view and everything, and a lot of people are coming out now and feeling that Jada laughed at first, but then Will looked at her reaction and blah 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 blah. I got a question for you two, and I hate that we don't have more of the panel on here. Have you ever been with somebody that could bring that other personality out of you? I was telling Tasha about a situation just last night. There's only been one time in my dating history, my entire dating history, of all the people that I've messed with, that somebody had. I went outside of my normal character and I didn't like who I was. Have you ever been with somebody that could push those buttons and take you out of your comfort zone of who you were for you because of your feelings or whatever that could take you there? Have you ever been in that situation?
never.
Never.
I've never been in that with anybody that could take me out of my character.
Beautiful, beautiful. Tasha, what about you?
I'm really trying to sit here and think because I remember what we were talking about last night, but
Right.
nothing comes to my mind that someone can take me out of that would take me out of my character. And again, considering, especially given that situation and the specifics of it in that situation regarding Will and Jake, no, you couldn't take me out of my character over that. Um, but just in general, no. Not
Wow.
in that sense. Not in a
Right.
relationship sense. No,
Yeah.
not like
Nah.
that.
Nah.
I,
Yeah. I
I
agree.
I love that. I love that hearing that. So I'll share with you guys just really quickly. Situation I was in. I was dating somebody, and this wasn't. It wasn't a serious relationship, but the person was in my rotation, meaning that I was fucking with them on a regular basis enough. I liked the chick enough that she spent the night. And if anybody know anything about me, if you get to spend the night, that means I'm really fucking with you. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Hmm.
90% of my hookups was right there in the living room on the floor on your knees, and then you got put out. You got a couple of hours, and you went on your way. If the person got to spend the night, that meant I liked her enough that I trusted her enough to be around my shit that I can kind of halfway close my eyes. So this was somebody that was in a rotation. I can't, for the life of me, I can't remember the girl's name, but I was telling Tasha last night, I can see her I can see her as plain as day, banging body. And that was why I was with her. But she was the most ghetto person I've ever actually kind of dated. And I always liked kind of ghetto to a certain extent, but this was ghetto to the extreme. I mean, she was it, the true ghetto chick. Long story short, the next morning after we had kicked and done our thing, she wanted something to eat, and I was taking her to Burger King. We got in an argument in the Burger King drive-through over Tupac. It's early in the morning.
Oh
Tupac comes on.
wow.
I slide in a disc. Tupac comes on. I'm taking her home. And it was started. It so simple was, why you listen to that? That's such and such, because she was dinner. I was like, I like Pac. That's my dude. Blah blah blah. He ain't got shit on Biggie, and he ain't no real rapper. And it started innocently enough, just simple like that. Just a difference of opinion. She liked Biggie, and I was like, well, I like Tupac. By the time we, got up to where we were ordering, we were in a full-fledged yelling match. And she was calling me all out of my names. You's a punk ass nigga, and you don't know what you talking about, and blah, 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 blah.
Oh
So
wow.
when we make it up there to get our food, all of the Burger King people were peeking out to see what the hell is going on a Sunday morning. Who are these people? It was embarrassing. It was all of that, and I'm like, give me my food. The only thing I could think of is, let me get this bitch out of my vehicle. I'm driving my truck. And I had to get on the highway and didn't have to go far, but she was going in. She was going in. And I look back on that situation, and I could have pulled over, slung the bitch out or whatever, but it was a Sunday morning. This was going to be a battle. This was going to be a fight. You know what I'm saying? So all I could think of, let me get this bitch to her destination as quickly as I can to get her out of my vehicle, which I did. I got her to her place. She was in the hood. She slammed my truck door closed. I threw the food at her. We cursed each other, and later on she called and made all kinds of threats. Well, she tried to make up first, but I ended up telling her that anybody that could push my buttons and take me to that place, I didn't like who I was. Fuck you, blah, 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 blah. And again, she was going to have me fucked up in all kinds of different ways. She was going to
Oh
have
my
me jumped on and all this kind of
goodness.
stuff. Yeah, this was the
Goodness.
only time I ever been in that situation where somebody took me out of my character. And that was the thing for me, is I vowed that if somebody could push me to that limit, I knew that they were not going to be healthy for me.
Yeah.
I knew they were not going to be healthy for me, which brings me to the last thing I'm going to say on the Jada Pinkett and Will Smith situation. Do you think this relationship has hit a level of toxicity? We throw that word around so much, and they have lauded themselves as being elevated on so many different levels with their relationship, with the red table talk, and do you think after this incident that they've hit a level of they need to go their separate ways because they're toxic? What do you guys think? And as you ponder that, what's going on, Mr. Real Estate Insider himself? That's
What up?
Mr. Lamb Levity,
What,
Mr. himself. That's the man, the myth, the legend right there. Yes,
that
sir.
Robin Leach. What's up, brother Lamb? Oh man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Tasha, I'll let you tackle that.
I would say, something, it has reached a level of toxicity, but not one that I think that is crazy. I mean, we've seen some other ones play out a lot more. I will say this, we haven't seen the last of those two. I don't think this is the bottom level. I don't think this is rock bottom. I think it's going to take one more situation for him to spaz out or to be publicly embarrassed again, for him to be like, you know what, that's just it. That's it. Because first it was the red table talk.
Right.
And all the memes that are associated with it. Now you've shown your ass at at the Oscars. It's gonna take one more for him to just for it to really click for him. Like, I can't keep fucking with her like that.
Okay. What you say, Brother Kenny? Is this the last straw? Have they reached a level of toxicity where they need to go their way?
I don't think so. I don't think this is the last straw. I think they've been together for what, 25 over 25 plus years. Not saying that people don't split ways after that length of time. I just think that that's what their relationship is. I think that's who they are. And I think this is what it will be. And I think this is something they're used to. It's norm for them. And I just think that they're going to carry on as business as usual.
Whew. I'm going to leave it there. But I guess I'll leave it here at the end that Brother Will, and I like Will Smith as a person. I still don't know these people. I like him. I'm still a fan of his movies. I love his personality. I think by and large, he's a decent person. Brother, if not, I don't know what's holding you there, but this is for me one of those clear cases. If I'm a family member, a friend, maybe y'all need to go your step away. Let her do her. And I'm not blaming Jada for his actions, just so you know.
Right. Gotcha.
That's how I feel. You got up and did that. But that's why I brought it up in this context that if somebody could push those buttons and elicit, because that's clearly way out of character for who he is, that maybe it's time to say enough is enough. And that's the final thing I'm going to say on the Will and Jada Smith situation. You know, I'm going to leave that alone.
Yeah.
All right.
It ain't going nowhere no time
It ain't going away,
yeah.
but I don't, but I'm sick of it. And I just want to examine it from that context of, you know, how it plays out, you know, for us. That brings me to a situation. Let's talk about Black China. And I was trying to pull this situation up, you know, speaking of toxic women, you know, speaking of toxic women.
That was the most hilarious thing I've seen in a while.
So let me bring everybody up to speed as best I can. And Tasha, you chime in here for pieces I might miss. So I don't know, first of all, even know how to describe Black China, she's just a reality star.
She was an IG model is what she
okay,
started.
so is that what her original thing?
Yeah.
You know,
she was a hoe. Let's just call it what it is. She was a hoe.
To go there, so that's what
she was a hoe. So
she was an opportunistic hoe. But okay, she got a star from IG, which I did not know, but she parlayed it into reality fame because she had kids from two other reality famous people, one of which being Rob Kardashian, a member of the Kardashian family, and Tyga, you know, who's a rapper. She has children from both of these individuals, and they're all what I would consider D-level reality stars in their own right. None of them have done anything really of significance other than they're famous for being famous. Having said that, she went on Twitter, and I'm paraphrasing, and she said she had to get rid of 3 of her cars.
Yep.
Because her reasons was morals and beliefs, and that she's a mom, you know, and that she has to take care of her children. Because as a single mom, she's not getting any support, and she essentially said she has 2 deadbeat fathers, Tigger and Rob. Well, the 2 men, they responded. And, you know, I'm trying to pull up, it's in essence what Rob. Go ahead, Tasha. Take it away what Rob and Tigger said.
So Tyga, you keep calling Tigger.
Oh, shit, I'm so Tigger. Okay,
So Tyga says, I pay $40K a year for my son's school, and he lives with me Monday through Saturday. Why would I pay child support? LOL. Rob says, I pay $37,000 a year for my daughter's school. I handle every single medical expense. I pay for all extracurricular activities. I have my daughter from Tuesday through Saturday. Why would I pay child support?
Okay, so if we take everything right there on its face value, $40,000 a year, $37,000 a year. So we're not talking about her own personal income, just in support. That is $77,000 a year to support 2 kids. And when she says getting rid of 3 cars, we're not talking about Nissan Altimas, folks. Let's be clear. That's what I drive.
Right.
I drive a Nissan Altima. I love my little car. We're not talking about Nissan Altimas. You know, we are talking about Rolls Royce and, you know, the whatever, because what they, anyway. And if you listen to what they're saying at its face value, and she responded to this simply by LOL. She's kind of said some things now because now she has a lawsuit against Chris Jenner, the mom, and the other Kardashians, saying that basically they disrupted her fame of her show, and she has an active lawsuit suing them as well because she's saying that they stepped in and they messed with her money and she has to take care of her kids. But if we take all this on face value, based on what these two fathers immediately stepped up and said, they putting a number to the amount of money they're spending, and they're putting the time limit that those kids live with them. What do you guys think about this?
Yeah. She's a clown. That's what I think of it. She's a clown, and it's about time. She got exposed. She didn't think this totally didn't go the way she thought it was going to go. She thought she was going to get a bunch of sympathy and them no good dudes and this and that, and they like yo pump your brakes. I think this is the first time in the history of Twitterverse that I've ever seen two fathers that's on the same page with their children.
Yes.
So yeah, I want all the women that go hard at men, these whatever, if you regular men about child support, I want y'all to go just as hard at her too, because she's making it seem like that she's doing it all, but come to find out she only had them kids twice a week. They with their daddy most of the time. So again, what do you need support for? Okay,
Tasha.
This has been, when you did your child support, cast, it was the show, and people are still waiting on the second part of that. This was a big thing because like there's a difference in being a single mother and then a single parent. And in this case, with her being, you don't even have the child with you. This also breaks down a lot of those misconceptions as well, that these celebrity men don't have their kids with them.
Ooh.
So again, you can't go by what someone posts on their Instagram that makes it seem like they're just such a doting parent, when in this case, for one of her children, she only has them for once a day, for once a week. And then the other one, she has them twice a week. And again, what does it say that you have a little girl with Rob and she doesn't even spend that much time with you as her mother?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love this conversation, and this is as real as it gets. Tasha is right. We did a show, a while back, and I do need to revisit because it was a hot topic. It's always a hot topic when you talk about child support and single parenting and all of those issues. And again, this is rich and famous people playing out. But if you notice, she didn't dispute their claims.
She did. Sure did.
The telling part to this is she didn't dispute any of the claims, and this didn't just come from one. Brother Kenny, you're right. How often do you see two men, two separate situations, where they chime in together like, whoa, wait a minute now. Let me tell you what's going on. And she didn't dispute any of these claims. Her response literally was LOL, laughing out loud. What this says, and Tasha, you bring up so many good points there, is that we truly need to get away from the perception that just because a kid is with the mother, that this automatically means that that's the best parent. Mm-hmm. So for me, it even starts there, that by all accounts, it would appear that we're calling you a hoe for a reason. These children were a paycheck. They were a means to the end. Tasha, I love the point you said about, a parent. You really don't seem to have any interest in being a parent. And that too often is what's happening when we see sometimes people with kids. A lot of times when we see people blustering and bloviating about child support, how much of a parent are you though? Because parenting have to have more to do with the amount of income that's coming in. It really does come down to the time you're spending with that child. And in this case, as you mentioned, what's a shame is you have a little girl who's watching this. And so for me, as I look at this story, not everybody's out there is rich. So not everybody's a tiger or a Rob Kardashian. Some of you common hoes out here who got kids who laid down. I'm keeping it real. Who laid down and you have multiple baby daddies in this instance, you know, and you are getting some kind of support. What are you doing to bring yourself up out of that situation to assure that you really are parenting and positioning yourself to be the best parent you can be? Because if you're making your parenting decisions based on what somebody's going to give you, I have a problem with that. I have a real problem with that because it took two of you to make this child. That child didn't ask to be here, and that's why this subject gets real iffy. You know, now of course we know there are a lot of layabout lazy men out there. So we're not so we're not painting a picture here that men are great or whatever. But in this instance, this is a clear-cut case where it does seem like the men are doing their part. You know, and despite even their reputations, they're spending that time with these children, and she's not. Tasha, you have some more comment on that?
I do, because it's amazing to me that you don't hear anything from, the comments about her paying him child support.
Yeah.
Because that has been a big point of contention with a lot of people in these conversations about, well, it's more than just money, it's time. If 95, in this case, it's literally 95% of their time is spent with the fathers, shouldn't she be paying them child support?
Woo!
I'm just trying to figure out, like, where are all the extra comments to support that?
Yep.
Which raises even bigger issue on this subject, that maybe we need to revisit the laws that's on the books that for so long have been skewed towards women in general. You know, if I love the fact that Halle Berry is having to pay child support and spousal support because she was the ultimate breadwinner. If we're starting to see that turn, I would love to see these guys, go after her. That if they can prove definitively that what they're saying is true, she actually owes them money.
Yeah.
And maybe it's high time that we make an example of somebody like her, and maybe that will curtail this trend we've been seeing, especially over the last probably decade, where having a baby by somebody famous has been the new welfare system. It's you see all of these stories, and maybe they'll cut down on some of this false accusations about rape and shit like that, because we all know that a lot of these IG models and whatever they want to call themselves are looking at some of these famous rappers, athletes, stars, or whoever as a meal ticket.
And then you got to, we got to hold these brothers accountable too. These men, you got to start making better choices, man. You can't be out there slanging your peen, not protecting yourself, or even better yet, just go ahead and get snipped, get a vasectomy.
Especially if you already got enough kids. Tasha's all for that.
Especially if you already got enough kids.
If you already got enough kids.
Yeah, like Future, right.
But not just that. You have the financial means. For some men, it's the financial part of not being able to actually afford. You can't honestly make me believe as a celebrity, and not just celebrities, where I'm talking about rappers, things like that, along doctors. With you earning the money that you do, you can't reasonably make me think that you don't have access to better medical care than I do.
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. So Nick Cannon, we talking to you. Maybe it's time, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Maybe it's time. You mentioned Future for sure, but Nick Cannon, look, we're not trying to stop you from screwing, but maybe it's time to do the responsible thing, because to keep bringing kids, and then the flip side, like Brother Kenny said, make better choices with who you're making parents with. Everything with a body on it doesn't mean they're going to be a good parent. I like pussy like the next guy. I promise you. I get it. I get the visual, but laying down, making kids with these people, bringing a life into the world with these people, and not knowing that they want to truly be parents is irresponsible at the highest level.
Yep.
You know, and I'm so serious about that. I'm so
Yeah.
serious about that.
That's
All
real.
right. You know, let's talk about Brandy for a second. You know, there's a story where Brandy Norwood, you know, from our era, you know, 90s, she's being sued by her housekeeper for ageism. Um, to give you a story in a nutshell, she had a housekeeper, and I think the lady is in her 60s, right, Tasha?
I believe so, yeah.
The housekeeper's in her
65,
60s,
something
65,
like
something
that.
like that. She's worked for Brandy for, let me get it right, is it 2 decades or 3?
19 years. It was 19 years, I
She's
thought.
worked for Brandy for 19 years. She makes $125 a day. She makes $125 a day. I'm loving your face, Kitty. She works for Brandy Norwood. She makes $125 a day, and she's worked for her for 19 years. And she's suing Brandy because Brandy is letting her go. And she's alleging that she's being let go because of her age. And she even says that Brandy owes her for 2 days of back pay. 2 days, not 2 weeks, not 2 years. She worked for 19 years. She owes her for 2 days of back pay. And she's suing Brandy for ageism. What do you guys think about this?
First of all, I'm still kind of confused. She was only making $125 a day.
Mm-hmm.
This is the truth.
Okay. See, this had okay. So I mean, was she working a regular 8-hour shift? Or I mean, was she only working an hour or two? We don't know. So, but we do know she's making $125 a day. And she's suing her for 2 days of back pay.
She wants 2 days of back pay, but she wants even more money because now she's alleging that ageism, you know, has come into play.
Came into play.
Yeah.
I
Real estate said, "Ma'am, retire and take your ass home." But
I smell a frivolous lawsuit on the hands. I really do. This smells stinking to me. Ma'am, you probably wasn't. You probably was supposed to be cleaning. Was half cleaning. You probably you probably don't tell her taking selfies when you're supposed to be cleaning. I don't know. This I smell a rat. I don't know. I don't think this woman is telling the whole truth about this. How much is she? What is the lawsuit for? How much she really suing for though?
$250,000.
250. Oh, for 8.
Yeah.
You know what? This smell like a frivolous lawsuit to me.
Okay.
I think this woman was probably dismissed because of other situations that had been stacking up over the 19 years, and Brandy let it slide, but then she just got fed up and said, "You know what? Thank you for your service. Is no longer needed." That's what I think.
Tasha, what do you say?
Man, that lady is so. I hate when people do this. You decided, not only are you saying that you were owed for at least 2 days of work, now you're trying to say that you weren't ever legally, or that you didn't get the breaks that you were legally entitled to, things like that. So, you know, now it's that. If I was your housekeeper for 20 years, damn that, I'm writing a book. I took pictures over the years. I'm telling everything. I'm telling everything that my head can hold. Damn a lawsuit. You got to come to me and like, look, you can't release that. You can't put that out there like that.
I wasn't even thinking on that part.
But it's just it's just someone who's just opportunistic, just wanting to take. But you can't tell me in all of that time that you didn't stumble across certain situations or hear certain things, overhear conversations. I would have been quietly writing stuff down, and then I would have released a book. Confessions of a Housekeeper. I don't know, some shit like that.
which for me, that I wasn't even thinking that angle, Tasha. But you know what? That you mentioned that. You know what that tells me? This woman is clearly not too bright.
Yeah.
I wonder if she is domestic. I'm trying to be nice.
Mm.
Nice here. They live in California, so She could be, a foreigner, not
Mm-hmm.
Native American. Because the first thing jumped in my mind was what you said, Kenny. If you work for Brandy Norwood, now Brandy's been rich a long fucking time. She
Mm-hmm.
she 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 ain't just got a little money. I actually
Mm-hmm.
didn't Google Brandy's net worth, but she's been a millionaire for a long, 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 long time. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're making $125 a day, we don't know again how many hours, but I will say this: if you worked for her for 20 years, obviously the arrangement was amenable.
Right.
And
Right.
if you're making $125, where did you start at? Was it $50 an hour? All these years, did you climb up to 100? So this makes me think you're not too fucking bright in the first place. But here you are after damn near 20 years, and you're alleging ageism. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that Brandy really is letting you go because of your age. And and isn't it her right? Isn't it her right to hire whoever the fuck she wants to? I am so sick of people thinking they are entitled to something that doesn't belong. It's a job. That's your employer. In most states we work in, the states are right to hire, right to fire state. If my job right now says, Freddie, we're going in a different direction. It happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
On my current job, they made a sweeping decision with no notice to eliminate mid-level positions. They did it on a Wednesday.
My job.
Hey, I wouldn't go tell Tasha's business,
My
And
job.
so she's telling you literally one day, to no fault of her own, they came in and said, we're going in a different direction, and her position was eliminated. I would not have put she open the door. She can't sue them. You can think it's wrong. You might not like how they did it. You might feel completely blindsided by it and everything. Brother Kenny, you nod your head because the pandemic cost you
it
your
cost me my job, my profession.
To no fault of your own.
No fault of my own.
To no fault of your own. But an employer, they have that right to make that decision. So assuming Brandy even woke up one day and said, you know what, I need a younger housekeeper, whatever her role title is, that is her prerogative, and if you work there for 20 years, this is a frivolous lawsuit, because if I'm a judge, why are you wasting our time? Like Brother Lamar says, retire, sweetheart, take your ass home and sit it down. And to Tasha's point, write a freaking book, do some interviews, do a tell-all if you really feel like you was done wrong. But a lawsuit is just, it's a waste of taxpayers' money. It's a waste of time. And you're not owed anything, because if she employed you for 20 years, you got yours and then some, sweetheart.
I wonder how much did she start off making? She must have started off making $7.25 an hour.
That's what I
or
said.
something. I'm like, gee whiz.
Think about it like this. Like, number one, we're talking about 20 years ago. That means that bitch was well in her 40s.
She was
and
in her
she
40s,
knew better.
yeah.
She knew better.
Yeah.
Like, so it's not like you were a child and she was taking advantage of you. You knew better.
Right.
You knew better.
And then also it says here that she claims that Brandy violated California state labor laws, including failure to pay minimum wage, even though that's probably what you all negotiated. So 125 divided by 8 is what?
That's like
what is the math?
Very,
very good question. Very good question.
That's like $15 an hour.
I was gonna say it's like 13 or in between 13 and $15.
Yeah, it's like $14 an hour. Yeah.
So that's what you're saying, and it says including failure to pay minimum wage, unpaid rest and meal periods, inaccurate wage statements, and more. So you waited until 2022 to decide to report this, that you had enough, that you just can't deal with it, even though all these years
You okay
You've been
with it?
dealing
You
with
okay
it.
with it?
Yeah.
That's why I said she can't be too bright. That's 62 an hour. So
Yeah,
if
yeah, yeah,
if you've been living off this, and again, if that's what you just hit 125, you's a damn fool, and you ought to be ashamed to tell people that. You know.
yeah.
So
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Just take your apron, take your broom,
go
take your
home
apron and your broom. Just go home, go clean up somebody else's
and
house. I
write a
don't
damn
know.
and do a tell-all. Like I said, write a damn book or
Yeah,
something.
Right?
but she, but,
Well,
but but she probably don't even know it. She probably signed an NDA when she got hired there. So she
True.
probably, even if she try to write a book, she ain't smart enough. I don't know, man. Bless that lady's heart. That's all I
Bless
can
not
say.
bless
Bless
her
her
heart.
heart.
Bless her heart. You clearly ain't too bright.
Yes.
Since we talk about blessings, another good segue. Monique. After all
Mm,
of this time, Lee Daniels is back working with Monique and came out on live on stage and gave her the apology she has been seeking for a lot of years. And it was a beautiful moment to me. You know, we all know to encapsulate the story, Monique, when she made the movie Precious, for which she won an Oscar. So at the height of her fame, her career, she went from being a stand-up comedian to legitimately being recognized as an actress. She won the Oscar for her role in Precious. And during that time when Precious was up in award season, she refused to do junkets and promote the movie because she's alleged that was not alleged. She says point blank, I wasn't being paid to do that. I got paid to do a role, and they wanted me to, on my own dime, go around and basically promote the movie for free. You know, Lee Daniels and Tyler Perry, who's a producer on the movie, and she alleges that because it was the whole black thing, you our sister, and we doing so much for your career, that she's supposed to do this for free. Well, her feeling was, pay me. I fulfilled my end of what you paid me for. You paid me to do a role. Not only did I do it, I did it at such a level that it's garnering the attention of the Academy. So if you want me to go out and promote it, pay me. Well, because she refused to do these things, in essence, she got blackballed. And we can call it out wherever we want to. No doubt about it, her trajectory of her career took a nosedive.
yeah, it did.
Because at that time, Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, Lee Daniels, three very powerful people, basically put it out there that she was difficult to work with, and that sunk her career. And think back to when Precious was made, and from that time to this, she's had minor roles, but never to the extent, especially what you would expect from an Oscar winner. She won an Oscar, let's be clear. You know, she
Right.
won an Oscar. And even when during her comeback, you know, she was vocal about it. And even Netflix paid her, I want to say, 26 times less than what they paid Amy Schumer. So she's alleging that because of the blackballing, she's never been able to get her career back to the level that it once was, because obviously she had been smeared. Well, there is a new movie coming out that Lee Daniels was making. Octavia Spencer was in the lead role, and we know Octavia Spencer is also Oscar nominated. I don't know if she won. I think Octavia Spencer did win Oscar as well for The Help, I want to say.
I think she did for The Help.
Yeah, so I think she
I'm
won
not
too.
sure, but I think so.
Yeah, I think she did win for The Help. So Octavia Spencer could not be in the role for timing. So guess what? Lee Daniels reached out and reached down and called his old buddy Monique, and he came out on stage and he publicly apologized, essentially admitting that he had did her wrong. And he says on the live stage, he said, we're going to do this shit all again. And he says on stage how hurtful this has been, because he said this was not just somebody where he said this was my best friend. The part that really was telling, he said this was my best friend, y'all. What do you guys think about this after all of this time?
Well, I think it's definitely giving me a little bit more clarity. It's definitely long overdue. Let's first and say that first and foremost. And I'm not going to stand up here and give him a round of applause for doing something that he should have done years ago. Because let's be honest with you, they weren't saying anything. Monique was doing all the talking. Then
Right.
after a while, when there's one person that's making all the accusations, then after a while you don't hear nothing from the one they accuse, and you be like, I think she just I don't think they did that. I think
Right.
Monique just got a
Right.
vendetta against it, and that's kind of how I was thinking, because she just went on this big junket. She was on Tyler Perry, Oprah, and Lee Daniels. I mean,
Yes, sir.
but
Yes,
none of
sir.
them ever responded.
Yes,
So,
sir.
as in the public opinion, in my mind, I think Monique was just doing a bunch of talking. But
Right.
I am glad that this happened. But again, I'm not giving him no round of applause for doing something that, because he cost this woman in a very important part of her life. She had just won this Oscar. That was that window. You normally never get that
Yes.
window back, especially
Never.
women, black women actresses in Hollywood. It's already tough enough for them anyway. And then once they get that acclaim, get that Oscar, they only have a small window that they can really reap the benefits of that. But again, I apologize to Monique. You know what? I believe you now. I had some doubt, but obviously you was telling the truth. And what's that old saying? Sometimes don't burn that bridge. Don't ever burn that bridge. Burn bridges, because you might need to walk across that same bridge again. Now look, Lee Daniels had to reach out to her, because guess what? He needed her again.
Very well said. What do you say about this, Tasha?
I could literally give three fucks about it, honestly. Three, count them, 1, 2, and 3. The whole situation. It doesn't. For me, it's like 50 Cent is trying to take, claim for this, saying that he's the one who, started
Right.
this, that it was all on, that it was him. To get caught up into the, the conflict of the rich and famous. Come on, you don't even know conflict. I don't even give a damn. Okay, I don't care. I really don't care. But for this specific situation, it doesn't make any sense for it to happen now all of a sudden, especially what happened on the heels of the Oscars. It kind of makes you look side eye. He apologized on April Fool's Day, makes you look at him side eye. So again, it's like, what's the real end game here? What are you really trying to do? What's really going on? Because Octavia Spencer wasn't able to do it. Come on now, y'all been pulling from other actresses all of a sudden. Now you want to go to Monique? What's really going on?
I love your suspicious mind.
You just a conspiracy theorist.
I was going to go there.
But it doesn't make it after 13 years now.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that part. Yeah.
And you did it in such a public way. Come on now.
So you raised absolutely legitimate points. You truly do. And while I agree with the fact that it is rich people's problems to a certain extent, and it doesn't affect my life one way or the other, I'm gonna tell you why I'm happy about this. I believed Monique from the beginning. I really, really did. Everything she said rang true. Now, the way she went about it, I had some issues with at times. Because her and her husband, Sydney, they set themselves up in such a way to, you were fighting a losing battle. Think about the people you were going up against. Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels. She was never going to win that. As you said, Brother Kenny, they didn't have to say anything. Their silence, literally, condemned you in many ways. And it left you out there blowing in the wind. It made me think about Moses. Yeah, think about my favorite movie of all time is The 10 Commandments. And when Moses was ordained by God and he first gets back to Egypt, he finds Pharaoh them out at the Nile, and Moses shows up on the scene, and that God is going to kill Moses, and Ramses says, "Let him rave on, so men know him mad." And I always think about that scene because, yeah, I love 10 Commandments, but when you got somebody screaming at the top of their voice, they did me wrong, and you can really just let them out there and look like they're crazy. And so Monique has been, Tasha, I didn't even realize it was 13 years.
13 years.
Wow.
I didn't realize it was 13 years. So for 13 years, she's been screaming in the wind like John the Baptist or somebody, "You've done me wrong." And you do bring up all these good points that why now? But I'm happy in this sense. It's never too late to do the right thing. It's never too late to do the right thing. And I love what you talked about, Brother Kenny, is that there was a small window that may have passed. When you said 13 years, she's 13 years older than what she was at her height. And there are other actresses, as you alluded to, Tasha, that they could have easily gone to.
That they've been using.
That they've been using. So that you're going back to her. I appreciate that it's never too late to do the right thing. That I think about my own situations, my own personal lives, and I'm gonna share something with the audience why this touches me in such a way. My move to Atlanta came on the heels of a friend who was a lifelong friend, my oldest friend, doing me dirty in the dirtiest possible way. And I believed in this friend in such a way that I put my hopes and dream in this friend, and I wanted to believe in a person, and I felt wronged in every possible way. And the friendship was thrashed, in such a way that it hurt at a level that I would have never thought. This was somebody I would have considered a brother. And it's never too late to do the right thing. To this day, on April 3rd, this person has never come to me and said, I fucked you over. I did you wrong. And it matters. And it matters. It's never too late to do the right thing. We call this show Real Talk for a reason. And from the day I started this show, I've always kept it real with my audience, and I'm never going to not keep it real. It is what it is. Now, even though I, of course, went on with my life, and I succeeded in spite of it, because that's who the fuck I am. And I appreciate Monique. She didn't quit. She didn't give up comedy. She didn't give up acting. And if we've come 13 years later to a point where, guess what? Whatever his heart condition, whatever his reasons are, that he came out publicly and said, I was wrong, I did you wrong, and we're going to try to recreate magic. It touched her. And if you watch the video, she was touched by the fact that even if the others don't ever come back and say it, it mattered. It mattered to her to let the world know that I wasn't lying. I wasn't making it up. And it matters. And that's why I see your face, Tasha, because I know you didn't think I was going there.
I didn't think that you would go there.
But you know the situation.
Let me shut up.
And I'm not going to take it there, but it don't get no realer than that. And so I am saying it matters. So whether you're Oprah or Tyler or just common folk, it's never too late to do the right thing, because it does matter. Friendships and relationships are hard to come by. We always talk about our day ones and all this kind of stuff. They aren't making new friends on trees. We throw that term around loosely all the time. I got 20,000 friends. No, you don't. No. In real life, you got a handful of people that will fuck with you and die with you and ride with you. And when I've been a friend to somebody and I call myself a friend to you, I'm a friend. You know what I'm saying? And it matters. And so I'm glad for her that even if it's taken 13 years, that she's got some validation for herself and to take with her, and then maybe they can repair some part of their relationship. And I'm happy for her. Yeah. And that's me keeping it 1,000.
I don't know. I say everybody watch Hollywood, watch out for Monique, because if something happens to her, we know why. That's all I'm gonna say.
and the conspiracy theorists have spoken.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, like I said, guys, I appreciate you for spending this little time with us. If you want more of this show, it's a very funny Sunday. Ironically, our regular panel, we in spring now, so we didn't get our regular panel. It's a lazy day. We started out sleepy. I truly thank you two for showing up, because it definitely lifted my spirits. This is therapy for me, to be able to get this stuff off my chest. So if you do watch this, whether you saw it live or you go back and watch this, you know where you can find us? Look at the bottom of the screen. Subscribe to TFG TV on YouTube and Facebook. You can find us, my show in particular, on TFG Uncut, TFG Ratchet. And once you type in TFG TV, you will never be disappointed because we got everything you need. And I want the voice, that golden voice, to tell you where you can find all of the content you will ever need, to satisfy your yearn for great shows, great content, good people, and for food for your soul. Tell us where they can find us there, Brother Kenny.
Hey, I'm going to do that, Brother Black. You can find this show, Real Talk for Real Men, on Sundays and Wednesdays. Sundays at 5 p.m. Central and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central. Also on Sundays, you can find Late Night with TFG, Lamar Falk. That's Lamar Falk, Charles Moore, Rosada Mitchell, and my man Charles Moore. You can find them tonight on Late Night with TFG, TFG and Lamb at 8 p.m. Central, I believe. You can find them here. And then also the Real Estate Insider, Lamb Levity. He shows you all the celebrity homes. You can find him here tonight too. I believe he's going to go on at 9 o'clock. He's going to have a live guest tonight. So you can find them on TFG, the Real Estate Insider, that channel. You can find them on their own channel, TFG Tonight, Late Night with TFG. You can find them on their own channel. So you can just type all that in and you'll find it. Now on Mondays, my man Black, myself, Brenton Haynes, Devin Devine, we are a panel that gives you the latest in news, politics, and some sports and entertainment on TFG Tonight with Brenton Haynes. You can find us on that channel, and you just type that in on YouTube, and there you go. Make sure you go there and subscribe. On Tuesday nights, you can find me, your guy, your sports guy, Kendrick, TFG Sports Media, on the TFG Sports Media channel on Tuesdays nights at 6:30 p.m. Again, Wednesday, make sure you come right back here. Keep it real. Real Talk for Real Men with Tasha and my man Lee Black at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Then on Thursdays, you can find Forgive Us Later with Lamb Levity. He got so many names. I want to call him Lamb Levity, Lamar Falk. He got so many monikers, but Lamar Falk and DJ Sullivan and Charles Moore on Forgive Us Later. You can find them on Thursday nights at 7:30 p.m. on the Forgive Us Later YouTube channel. Then on Friday nights, the Real Estate Insider with Lamb. You can find him. He's going live at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on the Real Estate Insider YouTube channel. Again, this is TFG TV. You go and type that in, and you're going to see a list of channels, and you can find us anywhere. Believe me, we got the shows for what you need. You're going to be entertained. Back to you, Black.
Bravo, my brother. Bravo. Y'all see
Absolutely.
why this is the voice, So I tell you, anything with Brother Kenny on it is quality. It's quality viewing, must-see TV. He is one of the most stabilizing effects to all of these different shows and working behind the scenes to make TFG bigger and better. If you guys don't know, Mr. Lamb, I call him Mr. Barry Gordy. This man is taking this thing to another level. And by the end of this year, remember TFG TV, it is skyrocketing, going to places that you don't want to believe. So I hope you'll be a part of it. So again, we implore you to like, comment, share, subscribe. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. You will not be disappointed. So thank you again for spending a little bit of your Sunday with me.
Y'all gonna watch the Grammys? Y'all gonna watch the Grammys before we go?
I am going to watch certainly the beginning, if for nothing else.
To see if something happened. To see if something happened.
And that was going to be one of my topics, but we didn't get time to it. I am definitely going to be tuning in, if nothing else, and popping in and out, because my mother tells me one fool makes many. Sometimes you do things for attention, and you never know what's going to happen. There are already reports that different ones are boycotting the Grammys, so it's already shaping up to be something interesting. Drake is nominated, but he's boycotting the Grammys, along with some other artists. So don't be surprised. Don't blink. You never know. So I will be popping in. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Relax. You know what? Put things in priority. Enjoy the week. Enjoy each other. Enjoy family. And I thank you guys for being part of my family and showing up to spend just this hour with me, because it definitely, means a lot to me. So Until we see you on Wednesday, love you. Be safe out there. Be peaceful, and always keep it real.
Peace.